Tennis is a sport that requires players to be comfortable constantly transitioning between defense and offense and back again. With that in mind, and knowing that many amateur tennis players don't always choose the shot patterns that best match the situation they're facing on court, today's lesson will continue our video series by breaking down the most effective defensive and offensive patterns you can use during rallies. Understanding when to defend, when to attack, and how to build points with the right decisions is one of the biggest differences between players who simply hit the ball and players who consistently win matches. So, if you want to become a smarter, more strategic tennis player, stay with me throughout this lesson. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, it helps Next Level Tennis continue to grow and ensures you won't miss any of the new content I release every week. My name is Thiago, this is Next Level Tennis, and let's get started with another great lesson. The first key concept every tennis player needs to understand, and one that makes a huge difference when it comes to neutralizing an opponent or defending effectively, is the height of the ball over the net. For perspective, the most common error in tennis, both at the amateur and professional levels, is hitting the ball into the net. This happens more frequently than missing long or wide. That's why, if your goal is to become more consistent and force your opponent to hit an extra shot, I recommend using the rally pattern demonstrated here by British player Jack Draper against Novak Djokovic during this practice match. Notice how Draper chooses a higher net clearance, giving himself a larger margin for error while still maintaining enough depth to keep Djokovic from attacking comfortably. This is one of the simplest and most effective defensive patterns you can use during rallies. Another great example comes from Alejandro Davidovich Fokina against Alex de Minaur. Pulled wide and under pressure, Fokina hits a deep, high cross-court backhand that lands near the baseline. The shot neutralizes de Minaur's attack and forces a neutral reply through the middle. Fokina then quickly switches to offense with an aggressive forehand and wins the point. It's a perfect example of how a strong defensive shot can help you regain control and turn defense into offense. Another important detail that, when combined with net clearance, will dramatically improve your defensive skills is shot direction. In this rally between British player Jack Draper and Czech player Jakub Mensik, notice how Draper combines a high ball with a cross-court target. Without a doubt, this is the smartest choice when you're defending. And here's why. First, a cross-court shot travels over the lowest part of the net, giving you a greater margin for error. Second, the cross-court direction provides the longest available court distance, which means there's more space for the ball to land and less chance of making a mistake. And finally, after hitting cross-court, your recovery position is much more efficient than if you had played the ball down the line. Since the geometry of the court naturally favors the cross-court exchange, you have less ground to cover as you recover for the next shot. For all these reasons, the high cross-court ball is, without question, the most effective defensive rally pattern in tennis. Now let's talk about the part everyone loves the most: how build points effectively and finish them in dominant fashion. In this point, we see the Spanish star Carlos Alcaraz on the far side of the court competing against the Canadian Felix Auger-Aliassime. After a solid and controlled start to the rally, Alcaraz recognizes his first real opportunity to go on offense. He plays a cross-court forehand, but this time his objective is different. Instead of using extra net clearance for safety, he uses more pace and a sharper angle to pull his opponent off the court. The result is exactly what every attacking player is looking for. Auger-Aliassime is forced out of position and can only respond with a shorter, slower ball. Alcaraz immediately takes advantage of the opportunity and finishes the point with a shot into the open court, or, if you prefer, a down-the-line winner created by the space he opened up with the aggressive angle cross-court ball. This is one of the most important offensive patterns in tennis. Use an aggressive cross-court shot to move your opponent out of position, then attack the open court on the next ball. Simply, effective, and used by the very best players in the world. We see a very similar point construction from the Spanish player once again, but this time he creates the opening with his serve. Alcaraz starts the point with a wide serve, immediately pulling his opponent off the court and creating space on the opposite side. From there, we see the same pattern unfold. The Canadian is forced to hit a weaker, shorter reply, and Alcaraz wastes no time attacking with his forehand into the open court. But there is one additional detail in this point that I would strongly encourage you to incorporate into your game. After hitting into the open court, Alcaraz continues moving forward and approaches the net. This is a smart decision because it prevents his opponent from having extra time to recover and stay alive in the rally. By closing in on the net, he takes even more time away from his opponent and puts himself in the perfect position to finish the point if another ball comes back. That's exactly what happens here. The Canadian manages to get one more ball in play, but Alcaraz is already in position and easily puts away the volley to end this point. So that's it, guys. These are some of the most effective defensive and offensive patterns you can use to build points smarter and win more matches. If you enjoyed this lesson, make sure to hit the like button and share it with your tennis friends. It really helps the channel grow. And if you miss our previous lessons on serve strategy and return strategy, be sure to check out the playlist linked on your screen. Those lessons fit perfectly with today's topic. Also, if you're looking for stylish tennis apparel both on and off the court, check out the new Next Level Tennis collection. I recently launched a new t-shirt and I think you're going to love the design. And if you want me to analyze your tennis technique, strategy, or help you to find the racket that best fits your game style, please send me a message using the link in the description and the first pinned comment. I'm Thiago from Next Level Tennis, tennis that actually works.